for the thousand.
Good morning, and how are we all doing? Thank God it's Friday. Welcome back to MUFC Realist TV. It's Mick Ruby here with a Friday morning podcast for your brew. Please raise your glass, whatever you're drinking, your coffee, your tea, whatever. It might be afternoon, so you might have an afternoon tea, because I am here holding the keys, and we're going to talk about a lot of things today. There's been rumors to be saying that no other than Richard Arnold is being sacked. However, that's been confirmed by the club. And the next on the chopping block is, of course, our beloved sporting director, or fake sporting director, that was in charge since 2021. We're talking about John Mourtough, of course. And what we're going to do in this show is to discuss as a community, is this positive? Is this enough? Is this due to the takeover? Because it is a strategical review. Whoever comes in, if it's Ineos, Sheikh Yassim 92 Holding Foundation, they were always going to bring in their own people. You know, it was always said to be 100 days evaluation, but do they really have the power, since they have not signed the sort of contract, the purchase agreement, or they're not really in charge as of yet to have that power to sack those managers? There might be an indication. We've seen that we are going to bring in the likes of Paul Mitchell and Jean-Paul Blanc as a CEO and all that stuff. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from you, because what we're going to do here in this show as well, we're going to look at the overall signings, the flop, what's been going on the 2 years of helm under both Arnold and Mourtough, to be honest. So I want to hear from you guys. Where are you from? What are you doing? What are you drinking? And we're going to give you guys a shout out. Darren is here coming in. Big up, guys. Big up to you. Jamie Wayne is also here. Good morning to you. Rattcliffe influenced this Mourtough decision. Ha ha ha. How we are in as a club. Big up, Jamie Wayne, one of our moderators. And Alistair Dirk, good morning to you, sir. Good morning, good morning, good morning. At least something positive is happening at Manchester United. So happy that the money wasters are leaving. Hope the Glazers will follow soon. Glazers out, Glazers out. Yeah, you raise a very valid point, Alistair. You know, the club has been run by bankers for years and years and years, without any sporting merits or without any sporting vision, to be fair, right? So ever since Sir Alex Ferguson left together with David Gill, it was hijacked by the bankers. We're talking about, you know, the likes of Ed Woodward and Matt Judges. And, you know, you could arguably say that, you know, John Mourtough was part of that, because he's been at the club for a very, very long time. And together also with the understudy, which is Richard Arnold. So they're not really any footballing people. They are, like, you know, college buddies. They are rugby fans. So commercially, you know, you could say that Woodward was brilliant in terms of the commercial values and bringing sponsorships. But however, like, you know, in terms of overruling the managers in the transfer market and signing players that not fit for the club, but more for the overall branding of the club, it is a recipe for disaster. And we have the sort of recipe in front of us. We had that meal several times. We have appointed managers such as Jose Mourinho, Van Gaal, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We had the open heart surgery, Ragnick, that did recommendations, but they didn't like that, so they sacked him. So lo and behold, to silence the fans, they appointed a first sporting director in 2021 in John Mourtough as a poster boy. Pretty much jobs for the boys, to silence the fans and to actually put it out there that, look, we have a sporting director. So we're going to look at his merits, basically. How much did he actually spend? Because he's been actually spending over £400 million on flops and not really taking the manager's first advice. So he's pretty much been a Glazer puppet in a way. So big up for you for your comment there as well, and make me open up. Faye Salo, big up Mick and everyone. Big up to you, my friend, as well. Compost Smurfy's here saying, what are you saying, Smurfy? Looks like they already did their 100-day review. They'll be working hard, just not legally, lol. yeah. You know what? When you're doing a rebuild of any type of organization, you always have to look at, you know, change management. You know, where is the foundation? Okay, football is the foundation. You know, that has been working. Like, you know, even if we have had great managers and bought in players, but there's been a mismatch. So anything above that footballing operation has not been linked or not been synced or not been communicated properly. Take an example. Take Ajax. Let's take Ajax, for example. The reason why Eric Ten Hag was successful at Ajax, according to my opinion, was that he had this triangle of the safety net that made sure that they spent it in the right area. They had a sporting vision, they had a project, and we're talking, of course, about Overmars, and we're talking about Edwin van der Sar as the CEO. That triangle was constantly working and discussing, having meetings, having planning, how to recruit, what to recruit, and of course, they had the scouts, right? John Mourtough, on the other hand, was sitting on his hands. I've been speaking to John Mourtough on the transfer market a few times. He's a nice guy, but he doesn't really know anything about how to negotiate. And we see in the proof in the pudding, the likes of, for instance, where he was chasing Rabiot for 2 consecutive times, getting snubbed by Veronique Rabiot, his mom, right? We also saw that this wasted so much time, both John Mourtough and Arnold, on chasing the signature of Frankie de Jong, which backfired. They let the manager down. They promised the manager, look, we're going to deliver Frankie, no problems, but they couldn't read the room. No, Bartomeu, they played him like a doll because they saw through it. What happened? Financial levers. What happened? They didn't want to pay, the deferred wages to Frankie. They tried to even squeeze it to them to pay, them out as well. They almost went for this, those mugs, to be honest. So big up to you for coming in raw as well. Box, what are you saying? Good morning to you, Boxy. Wheels are in motion. Ducks are being lined up. 100%. Manchester United title charge incoming. Now here's some positive coming from Box. Changes are coming, but the question that you have to ask is the hard questions. Is this enough? We need to build entire what do I say? How do you say? You have to build, a squad around a certain player. And in this instance, if you look at the footballing operations, you have to build personnel around Eric Ten Hag, if you know what I mean. In terms of commercially, United is doing fine. We are the biggest club in the world. Even Adidas, everyone wants to be part of it, wants to throw the money at, because as soon as you talk about United as a journalist or whatever, it generates so much social interactions. We are the biggest club in the world, but not on the pitch. And that is what needs to be fixed. Arguably to say that Glazers have always stayed in the background. They don't understand football. It's their investment. They never spend any single money on this club. As a matter of fact, we all know this story. They bought the club on debt and throw the debt on the club. But to manage this investment, they gave it to the brokers, like appointed people to run the firm, such as Woodward and stuff like that, that didn't have a freaking clue what football was all about. They knew about rugby, yes, of course, including Glazers. They knew about American football. The only ball they knew was egg-shaped, right? So it's been kind of a little bit of a proof in the pudding for the past 10, 11 years since Woodward was in charge and all the bankers, that the money was spent, but on the wrong areas, right? There's 1 billion on players, but nothing to show for, what Richard Arnold said in that interview. And we need to invest in the latest and greatest, the infrastructure. Richard Arnold came out to say in that interview, we heard there's no value on the market. We heard, when the United tax started, when Ed Woodward to say we can do what, anything in the market, what nobody club can do. If you remember that statement, that was shambolic. So to prove a point that New Dawn needs to be made, I mean, even if it's a 25% Ineos, which is a lot of smoke coming right now from the media at the moment, because technically speaking, you haven't really, got the purchase agreement of the club, so you can't really make any legal implementations. You can give indications that, yeah, I'm looking to bring forward X certain personnels because I got to declare it to the, the fitness and proper and fitness test to the Premier League to show this is my structure, right? These are the people that's going to be a charge in my organizational chart. Every single bidder has to go through this. So that might be the leak that's coming out, to the press, that if Sir Ineos or Sir Jim Rattcliffe will come on board, this is what he's looking to do. If 92 Holding Foundation come on board, they might also have the same people. Because bear in mind, everyone wants best in class. Everyone that's taking over Manchester United wants us to be winning. For me as a fan, all I care about at the moment is Glazes out full sail only. But from a footballing fan perspective, I want us to come back to the winning ways. So to have a sporting director and a CEO that understands football, that can restructure things, it's not going to be happening over one night. It's going to take 1 to 2, 3 years to get things right. And on the road, it's probably going to make some mistakes and wrong signings. But out of 10 signings, 5 might be correct. And Paul Mitchell, he has great pedigree of CV since he went from Southampton to PSG to, Nice was it as well, Monaco. I can't remember what it was. And Spurs didn't really work out either, but he did some blunder signings as well. But he did some good signings as well. But at least you get a proper footballing person that understands football and they can scout the right players based on the philosophy of what the manager wants to play. That is my opinion. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from you as well. Zero power, what Jamie Vane is saying. I'm going to shout out Compost Smurf. Well, big up for coming in raw with your comments. Rebel Bakis coming in. He said, big up, big up, big up. Kenny Fan TV's here all the way from Australia. Sydney, big up Mickey. John Mourtough to be sacked. 100%. He's definitely going to be sacked. So, look, at the end of the day, it is positive signs for Manchester United. We desperately need a change. And I think if you can smash a one that you think that this is the right direction for the club, press a 2 if you don't agree with me, if you think that this is not enough, right? So let's bring this to this stage, people. Let's bring into the stage, what is John Mourtough? Of course, we've been operating in a model that, Sir Jim Rattcliffe is potentially coming in and he's looking to bring in his people. That's what the rumblings are saying. We sort of back to take what we're saying. But if we look back in time, United was always run by the manager. Sir Alex Ferguson had total power and control. So therefore, he didn't want interruption with a sporting director. He was the man that run the club together with David Gill. So basically, he was the manager, he was the coach, he was the recruitment scout, he was everything, right? Since his departure, that power lied still kind of with the managers as well, but they were overruled by the apparatus above, the bankers. They were more servicing the Glazers to make more profit than actually spending. So Mourtough became actually the United's first kind of fake sporting director back in 2021. And he had a busy first summer, to be fair, right? We all saw it. He had a very busy summer. So the first signings that he was in charge, which was pretty much the signing of Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund, that we chased for 2 years and fumbled. We couldn't negotiate for an apple for a tree or whatever, and we ended up overpaying 2 years later anyway. And that was the signing of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and which was a little bit bizarre. When we bought him, we never utilized him. It was weird as hell, in my opinion. He was also in charge of Rafael Varane and the controversial Cristiano Ronaldo on a record 24 hours turnaround since he threatened to go to Manchester City. Mourtough was there to pull the trigger fast by Joel Glazer to say, look, this is a fantastic commercial, shirt seller. But Cristiano Ronaldo was a saga that we all saw fizzed away. He was bigger than the club, and it didn't work out. Sad state of affairs. I love Cristiano Ronaldo, whatever he did for the club in the past. But to come back in that state to call the club out, yeah, he was right to say the facilities and everything hasn't changed for 18 years, right? He was quite vocal, even under the reigns of Ten Hag. Ten Hag took him by the horns and said, you're not bigger than the club. You're not bigger than me. You're not bigger than the squad. Out you go, right? So in total, in general, if we summarize, Mourtough's reigns, like how he served under Ragnick, how he served under Ollie, how he served the managers such as Ten Hag, it's been shambolic, right? He spent 400 billion pounds, 400 billion pounds in transfers over the last 2 years, people. That's including huge flops, what people might say that Anthony Dos Santos is a flop. We overpaid for Anthony by 50 million, peeps. We could have got him on 50 million euros from Ajax. But what did we do? We offered 95 million pounds or euros, was it? Almost an estimation of 100 million. And Mason Mount also, which apparently was not an Erik ten Hag's first choice, was more a club signing, shambolical, right? There was, the ping pong match going forward between the Chelsea negotiator and Mourtough, and we ended up paying large sums of money anyway. They wanted ridiculous money for Mason Mount. 80 million was reported. But what did we get him for? 65 by memory. So we met in the middle at the end of the day. We caved. So the negotiations has been shambolic, and we'll be always overpaying, right? Now, John Mourtough itself, if you oversee, if you just go in on Transfermarkt, he's been director of football since 2021, right? But he's 52 years of age, right? He's born 1970, so he's been around. He's an old school guy, but he's been around the club since 2013. Historically speaking, if you look at where John Mourtough started, though, I might just zoom myself out here so you guys can see better, if that's okay, guys. My due apologies, mi perdon. And I'm going to remove some comments because you cannot see that either. So if you look at how he started as academy staff at Everton, right? That was 2004. He then went to Fulham as head of academy coaching. Then he went to Coventry as performance manager. And lo and behold, performance manager, what is that? This is something like we see with links with Sir Brailsford, a performance manager, a change management coach. But however, he then went to Everton as a sports scientist. Sports scientist? I didn't know that he was a scientist. Weird. So he's a guy that is carry multiple skills then. Then he was promoted in Everton in 2010 to Director of Development. Director of Development. Is that academy? Question mark. And from there, he went to become a academy manager with Manchester United in 2016, though. No, actually 2013 to 2016. There he became very good friends with no other than Richard Arnold and, Ed Woodward's, and I think it was an Ed Woodward appointment then. Then he also became a director of development. Then he went out to be a strategical advisor for women's football, and lo and behold, 2021, he became a football director of football with no experience of becoming a scouting experience, no experience of handling recruitment whatsoever. I mean, sports sciences, director of development, academy, yes. That's pretty much where he's been the strongest, people. I'm going to come to your comment section in a second, guys. I'm not going to forget you, but we have a lot of things to unpack today. But I want to bring this to the fray as well, the shambolical, what he's done as well, in terms of how he failed. How did he fail? Well, we remember this Frankie de Jong saga that never went away, right? That was on the back on Ten Hag coming in and demanding a signing. He wanted to build a team. He wanted to have a dynamic midfielder, a ball carrier. That was part of his spine. So he said, look, John, here you go. Here's my list. Go fetch. That was the deal. John Mourtough was supposed to be the golden retriever. Go fetch, John. So John and Richard flew down to Barcelona. They wined and dined, with Bartomeu. They wined and dined with Eric and with Frankie. And Frankie gave them insurance. Sure, boss, I want to come. Yes, sure. But there is a problem. There is the deferred wages. And the saga continues and continues. And at the end of the day, they realized Frankie ain't coming because he didn't want to miss out that deferred wages payment. And, Barcelona pulled a blinder. They mugged him by pulling the financial levers. Yeah, we all remember that, right? Shambolical. So he failed. And, we went for a Casemiro later on. But then also this other story regarding that won't go away. The chase of Rabiot. He went down there for twice to Turin to wine and dine Veronique Rabiot. That was his mother. He was spotted numerous times. Manchester United director of football John Mourtough has left Turin after meeting with the mother and agent of Juventus midfielder Rabiot. He swiped right on Tinder. She swiped right on Tinder. They met, but they didn't like each other. They didn't come to an agreement. And Ten Hag never wanted Rabiot. He never wanted Rabiot in first place. But still, like a rabbit staring at the headlights. He pursued. He definitely pursued. I mean, that's shambolical, right? That is shambolical. Let me know in the comment section what you think, guys. What are you saying here? Compost Maps. Frankie wife said, nah, I think I'm not giving up that sunshine light. Yeah. A little bit of vitamin D to exchange it for the Manchester Mancunian beautiful rain. Jolly Malmin, what you're saying here as well. If he has worked with Academy twice, then he should know how to find talent. Director of football might be too big for this role. He should have just been a normal scout. 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, our fan opinion matters, right? Your comment section matters as well. Milos Smith is saying, Dobro jutro. What are you saying? Milos is saying, all the way from Serbia. Good morning, Dobro jutro. Rabio je Protestant igrač je u United I nije kvalitet kakav treba Manchester. Yeah, he's just what Milos is saying here in translation, not from Google, but from my vocabulary translation to understand Serbian. He says he's not a good player for United. He was never a United player. And this is not something that United or Ten Hag didn't really want. 100%. But why did he pursue twice? Why did he go chase twice? Was it because he was rejected by Veronique? Ooh la la. Sorry. And basically, Box is saying that De Jong was a saga worse than 2013 Fenerbahce debate. Yes, true. I mean, guys, do you even remember the signing? I can't remember the name. What's his name with the big microphone booth head? The silence, the fan. Oh, the Belgium stallion. I forgot his name. Oh my God, please help me in the VR room. Oh, that was the worst signing ever made. That was under Van Gaal area. What was his name? And after that, we got Zlatan Ibrahimovic with Jose Mourinho. But what was his name? Come on, please help me. Anyway, it will come back to me. He was so shit, so I can't remember. He was good in the air, though. Tall, big microphone booth, Belgian guy. What was his name? Oh, God. Fellaini. Thank you. Thank you, Kenny Fan TV. Thank you, Box Fellaini. Guys, Fellaini, thank you so much. And Alistair Dirks for reminding me. It's never easy. I mean, there'll be so many players to come and go, and, including the piano player, Sanchez, right? Shambolical. Anyway, so just go. I'm gonna add this to the stage as well, guys. So let's start from scratch. Let's do this from the scratch, okay. I'm gonna minimize myself and I'm gonna bring this to the jumbotron. So if we start from the season when he came as a sporting director, let's look at this. The number of signings, what he was involved with. We're talking about we finally got Jadon Sancho over the line on 85 million euros. That was after 2 years of negotiations, including lying to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that, you're going to get him, and he didn't get him in the first year. And then we spent year and a half, 2 years just chasing Borussia Dortmund, and they are astute negotiations. They basically squeezed it out for 85 million, and Ole never used them. He didn't know how to use the players, Fair arguably to say Ole was never a coach. He was just more of a, endorphins guy, like to bring the culture back into, bring the guitar out and the, bonfire gathering and sing Kumbaya, we shall overcome. And then he, of course, brought in Rafael Varane as a center back. That was like, wow. Everyone was saying, wow, Rafael Varane, cool. Like, 4 times Champions League winner, Varane. Yeah, I was giddy. I was excited about that one. But however, Rafael Varane has proven to be like a little bit of a hit and miss. He's been great as long as he's fit, but his G-string, hamstrings, he's not really making us a favor at the moment, and we do really need a centre back in the January transfer window. Then he went on, and of course we're talking about the famous Cristiano Ronaldo. God, was that a mistake, people? I think that he should have just not come to Manchester United, because the legacy was there. You already cemented Viva Ronaldo. And now instead of Viva Ronaldo, they're singing Viva Garnacho. They changed the song because we all know what happened, right? The player power. He went to PS Morgan, called a spade a spade. At the end of the day, Ten Hag just booted him out. And that was great shit from Erik Ten Hag, to be honest, right? But that was pretty much it in terms of the first year spendings. There was 3 signings. There was Jadon, Rafael, Cristiano, and this was Tom Heaton was a transfer. Donny van de Beek, we loaned him out. Amad Diallo, we loaned him out. David Lowe, we also loaned him out. Brandon Williams. There's a lot of loan deals. So totally that summer window, 21, 22, we spent 142 million, right? but the total market average value is actually worth 324 million euros. Woohoo! The departures that year was Dan Mick James. Big, right? Dan James was departuring. There was a writing on the wall. Andres Pereira, we loaned him out. Axel Tuanzebe was loan. Joel Pereira, free transfer. Oh my God. Anthony Martial was a loan transfer. I think he was to Sevilla. Donny van de Beek, loan transfer. Amad Diallo. The list goes on and on and on. Tahichan. But we didn't sell anything. Yeah, we managed to sell Daniel James for 29.10. And that is massive for United to sell somebody almost for 30 million, right? And this year we couldn't even sell players for 1 million. Shambolical. So the total sell that year was 31.1 million pounds. So if you look at the overall investment versus the sales, wow, they couldn't even sell a packet of crisp in Starbucks. You know what I mean? 22 likes with Stephanie Griffith, guys. Wake up, smell the coffee. I'm just here by myself, not controlling the chat. So please enjoy the show and let me know what you're drinking, guys. 22 likes, what you're saying. Casemiro deal, what Box is saying here is very bad business, especially our current state. It was a slick winning machine, head of hidden. Yeah, but there was kind of the panic buy because of we always wanted the Frankie de Jong, but then was kind of like a diversion 2 weeks before the transfer window closed. All of a sudden we have a swift deal, it was less than a week and we had Casemiro over the line. We're going to look into that transfer as well. What are you saying, Darren? Is well, we bought him for more than his buyout clause. Yes. Okay, I'm just catching up what you guys are saying, but I just want to bring this to the table as well. What year by year since he's been in charge to understand. Okay, let's go into 2022-23 season though, the year before. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this, people. Okay, so if we go in 22-23 season, people, I hate these websites because you get a lot of marketing here as well. Dan James, what you guys are saying was a meat guy. Yeah, I can hear you guys. Great guy, but made profit out of him. We did make profit out of him. But if you look at when this was the year when Erik ten Hag came on board, and there was massive, upswing within the mood, within the fan base. Finally, we got the manager that the fans wanted, but not what the board wanted. And this was something that Richard Arnold was pushing for. The club wanted Mauricio Pochettino. The media wanted Mauricio Pochettino, but we got Erik ten Hag, who, by the way, gave us a trophy and finished third last season as well. So that's big up. Overachievement. We bought in the Anthony de Santos for 95 million. 95 million, people. Wow. And we could have got him for 55, but we kept sitting on our thumbs. John Mourtough was sitting on the thumbs and came late in the window. And that was extortion, right? We're talking about Casemiro there as well. Casemiro came in for 70.65 million for La Liga from Real Madrid. Wow. But that's Rolls-Royce Casemiro. And a lot of people were questioning, does he still have the fight? Does he still have it in him? And of course he does. He showed us what a class player he was the first season, right? He did. Definitely did. And then, of course, we bought in Lisandro Martinez for 57.37 million euros. We could have got him for 45, but yet again, we were dilly-dally because we were overthinking it. We were going for Jurriën Timber. Remember the saga? And we left it so late in the window. But we got that spine. We got that warrior. We got that leech over the line for 57, but we could have got him for 45. Again, Ajax made a massive profit by selling Anthony on 95 plus Lisandro Martinez, right? We got Tyrell Malacia on a cheap. That is the signing that I like. On a cheap for 15 million euros, mate. Yeah. He showed us the first season that a 50 million euro signing is a good signing. But of course, he got the knee injury this season, so it's hard to judge this season. Of course, then we have to go on the loan fee for Veggie Horse. That didn't work out. The loan fee, we paid 2.96 million. Wow. And then, of course, we went for a loan fee for Martin Dubrovka on 2.3 million. Then we got Christian Eriksen on a free transfer. So we didn't pay anything for Eriksen, to be honest. So people, I was watching streams yesterday. People say that Eriksen was designing that we spent money. No, we didn't spend any money on Christian Eriksen. It was a free transfer. There. Maybe we paid us, what do you call it, a sign-on fee for him because as a free agent you earn more money. And we got Marcel Sabitzer on a loan fee transfer, of course. We didn't pay for Sabitzer currently. We got Jack Butland on a transfer. Hannibal, yeah. And the list goes on and on. Dean Henderson, end of loan. There's a lot of loans. And if you look at the departures, we sold that year James Garner, which was a shock for everyone because everyone knew that we needed a CDM. But we sold him for 10.4 million. And if you go back on Mick James, Dan James, that we almost sold for 30, how the hell can you sell James Gardner, an English, how do I say it? You have that domestic quota that you need to have an English player, and James Garner, how the hell do you sell him for 10 million, right? Andreas Pereira, we sold him for 9.5 million to Fulham, and he's ripping up trees in Fulham, right? We loaned out Eric Bay to Marseille for 2 million. And then we didn't get jack shit for him when he went to the Turkish league. Tae Chong, we sold him to Birmingham for 1.75 million, right? And now he's playing for what? Yoo-hoo! He's playing for Luton Town. And he's doing quite well there. Pogba, he went for a free transfer, a shambolic. Pogba went for a free transfer. Jesse Lingard on a free transfer. Edison Cavani on a free transfer. Nemanja Matic free transfer. Juan Mata free transfer. Alex Telles free transfer. Oh my God. The list goes on and on and on. So what did we sell that year? 23 million.65. Huh? Do you understand where I'm coming from, right? As a crescendo, people, as a crescendo, you can now understand where I'm alluding to, right? The purchases has been shambolic, hasn't really been on par, right? We spend big money, but the sales has been catastrophical, right? It's been unbalanced. Let's look at this season that we are in at the moment. We are talking about 23-24 season. And remarkably, we were needed a striker. Ten Hag was recommended banging the drums that I want Harry Kane. I want Harry Kane. Harry Kane or nothing. Or something else. We were linked to Osman. We were linked to big signings. But what did the club do? They walked away from Harry Kane because Daniel Levy, right? We could have got him for 100 million, but they didn't have the money to splash the cash. So you go for an up-and-coming young striker, 20-year-old Rasmus Højlund. By the way, that is a project in development. What we've seen with Rasmus Højlund this year is still under development. So if he managed to score 11 goals this season in Premier League, that is a good return on investment. He's already shown the class in Premier League. Out of 4 games in Champions League, he scored 5 goals, right? But we bought him for 75 million. We overpaid. We got mugged. But Lee Congerton, the sister Atalanta, right? We got overpaid 75 million for a 20-year-old striker that hasn't been proven as of yet. He spent 1 season FC Copenhagen. He went to 1 season FC Strungarts. He spent 3/4 of a season at Atalanta, and we bought him for 75 million. If City would have walked in, they probably would have paid 50 million for him because that is the market evaluation for him. If you look at the transfer market, what his current market evaluation was at that time was 45 million to 50 million euros. United is most paid 75 million out of desperation, I guess. Mason Mount, another signing that didn't make sense, peeps. Mason Mount was a signing that did not make sense. All right. We know the story about Mason. Or do I have to reiterate it? Mason Mount, we paid 64.20 million from Chelsea. He was a reject that Chelsea didn't want. Todd Bowley was under extreme pressure. He bought in a lot of players and offered like 7 to 8 years contracts. So FFP was knocking on Chelsea's door. And one player that they had to get rid of was Mason Mount. And Arsenal also bought in, they got mugged by Kai Havertz as well. So they got rid of the players that they didn't want. And we ended up with Mason Mount, which still doesn't make sense to me, right? Was Mason Mount supposed to be a bench player? But why as a bench player and you give him the iconical number 7. But still, yet again, we overpaid. And the negotiations, they wanted 85 million. We should have not paid more than 50, 55, to be honest. But we still overpaid. Andre Onana was a goalkeeper, record fee, I think. We would pay 50 million for a goalkeeper. We should have paid maximum 40, 45. But we came up with a good agreement with Inter. Ten Hag wanted him, so we paid 50 million. Sofin Amrabat, we came to the end of that transfer window. The saga that never sort of ended. Like, I covered this alongside, with his agent. I covered this with Alfredo Pedula, and it was always meant to come in last, to buy him, but we didn't have any money. We did not have any money because we overspent it. So we have to go on a loan fee with an obligation to buy next season. So we gave Atalanta 10 million, and we will give Atalanta 18 million next season if we want to buy him. You know what I mean? Then we got the goalkeeper from Turkey, Bayandir, for 5 million that we haven't seen yet being played. Right? Johnny Evans we got for free. Johnny Evans is a red. Serge Reguilon on free loan transfer from Spurs. Alex Telles, we sort of gave up on the end of the loan. Eric Bay went end of the loan. Brandon Williams to Ipswich, end of loan. We didn't even get any money for him. Matteo Kovar also, that I didn't understand. Kovar was a great goalkeeper. Why did we get rid of him? Why did we send him back to Sparta Prague? In general, this year alone, we spent 204 million euros, right? Now, here's what I want to say, guys. Jolly, guys, big up Jarvis Cocker, sources Phil Brown. Yes, and the Muppeteers. Guys, you're still talking about the takeover. I'm just going to I'm going to go back to the comments. But I'm going to read what Jolly Marmin say. I've heard that Arnold have been going around the club, making everyone nervous. Not sure if they ain't any truth in it, but if it's right, then he can explain morale at the club. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Part of the leaks that's been coming out, like, it's not a secret. Like, even, I speak to Phil Brown as well. I was mentioned, by Jarvis Cocker in the comments below. I do speak to Phil Brown as well. And we always talk about this gravy train and the leaks and where it's coming from, and it's always been led to believe that John Mourtough and Arnold are the ones that have been leaking to the press, the gravy trains, right? They love that social media interaction. They even come out and said, any good interaction on social media is good for the club. Like, we generate so much clicks and money out of it. So anyway, big up for you for coming in raw there as well, for providing your morning coffee. Guys, I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. And we're going to continue looking at the departures this season. And this was always the fire sale. The FFP was looming at Manchester United, because financial reports came out to say, we spent, the debt has risen to 1 billion. And we even took a credit card loan, was disclosed in the financial reports from Santander Bank on 300 million euros, people. And that was to buy players on credit cards. Right, we still owe clubs in the transfer market we still haven't paid. So this season alone, Erik ten Hag was forced to finance in order to get players, out. To get players in, he needs to sell a lot of players. So what happened? We sold a goalkeeper, Dean Henderson. Finally, Dean Henderson went to Crystal Palace for 17.5 million euros. People, Anthony Elanga we sold for 17, but yet again, we sold Dan James for almost 30 million. How come you cannot sell Anthony Elanga for 30? He's at least worth 30 million. How many Premier League appearances did he have? Same with Dean Henderson. You know what? 25 million, 30, easy. Fred for 10 million euros almost to Fenerbahce. It's a joke. Although he had 1 year left on his contract, but he's a Brazilian international. He played in the Premier League for a couple of years, 3-4 years at least, right? Matteo Kovar, again, sold him to Bayern Leverkusen for 5 million. Matteo Kovar for 5 million, man, a goalkeeper. Alex Telles, God bless his soul, went to, to Saudi Arabia for 5 million as well. And Saudis have money. Saudis came into this market throwing ridiculous money, and we couldn't even get 5 million out of Alex Telles to Al Nassr, guys. And here's the shock. Here's the absolutely shock of this window. Zidane Iqbal. How the freaking hell could you sell Zidane Iqbal for 1 million euros? For 1 million euros. Zidane Iqbal, the talent, that everyone was talking about, the aggressive midfielder. This sold into Eredivisie to Utrecht without even a buyback clause, an option to buy back, right? Eric Bailey, God bless his soul. I love Eric Bailey, but he went on a free transfer to Besiktas. Finally got that rid of the wage book. Tedamengi, question mark. He went to Luton, but there's no records of how much. Nothing. Did we give him away for free? Tedamengi was the prodigy, one of the best centre backs to come up from the academies, right? Brandon Williams, loan transfer. Alvaro Fernandez Carreras. This is something that mind boggles me. We had that, injury crisis with the left back situation, and we still let him off on loan. We saw Alvaro Fernandez doing madness in the preseason. I thought that he's going to give a chance now. We have all these injuries. What did John Mourtough do? Send him out on loan. He sent him out on loan, and we went and loaned Serge Reguilon. Shambolical. Anyway, that's just my thoughts and feelings about it. Mason Greenwood is a story that never goes away, and I ping this part of the departure of Richard Arnold, the way he handled the situation. If we're going to talk about that, for me, the Greenwood saga is a saga that was doing the media rounds, doing the fan base head in, and doing some political movements like Me Too movements also heads in. The investigation was done by the club. The investigation was done by Manchester Greater Police, and they found no charges. Richard Arnold was planning to sort of integrate him to the squad again. He gave the green light to Ten Hag. You will have Greenwood back. But that kind of somebody leaked it out. Somebody leaked it out to Athletic. Now, who's that leak? Who's that rat? Is it Mourtough? Is it somebody up within the apparatus above that didn't like it? And the shitstorm started. So they basically had to retract the offer and make a statement together with Mason to say, look, son, you go away, play on a loan, and maybe come back in January. We're not going to sell you because he's a prized asset of the club. But this is where he fucked up, 100%. As a CEO, you bear the ultimate responsibility. Either you stick by your guns, make an example, but don't flip-flop, right? Don't flip-flop, because then you're showing you a weak CEO. Yeah, I do understand the pressure, but you caved into minority, right? There's a saying, proven until it's innocent is guilty, blah, blah, blah. But there's also the moral police out there. We've seen this with the takeover. Like, we don't want the human rights issues. We don't want state-backed. We don't want greenwashing. So there's a lot of morality. But at the end of the day, we're playing football. That's what it is. Okay. So that is my take on why he was sacked. But he was also, Arnold tried to make, to do something different. Like, he tried to be different than, the predecessor. But at the end of the day, he didn't. He showed that he was a weak CEO. And that's, where the cookie crumbles, according to my opinion. So if we then continue, like, we finally got rid of David De Gea. I wouldn't say finally, but on a free, the loyal servant De Gea was mistreated so bad by the club. They made him an offer. He accepted the offer to stay. They even told him, you might not be the first goalkeeper. You might be the second goalkeeper. We're going to lower down your wages to $200 a week. 200, sorry, not bucks, but 200 million a week. 200,000. Sorry, I'm rambling here. Frogs. And he accepted. But then they retracted it. They fooled him. And they kicked him out the door. The loyal servant of the club. But anyway, we should not forget about the fax machine to Real Madrid a couple of years ago. But anyway, that is just shambolical. Axel Tuanzebe was also mismanaged by the club. Phil Jones, another mystery. Phil Combs. What happened to Phil Jones? He was there collecting, dividends, like by his weekly payments, just to lay out the cones. He never played. And when he played with passion. But he was just on the wage bill, right? Marcel Sabitzer, end of loan. Wood Weghorst, end of loan. And Jack Butland, end of loan. So we look at this season, guys. We look the truth in the eye here. We spent a sum of What? We spent 204 million in signings and we only sold for 55 million. That's a big balance, right? That gives you the summary of a sporting director. You see, a sporting director is there to facilitate the manager, to make his job easier, right? The manager should not be worried about these signings. The manager is there to assemble the squad, to appoint, like, analysts that produce the persona profile for each positions. Once that list is completed, you hand it over to the sporting director. And if you say this player is not good enough, get rid of him. You, as a sporting director, should complete your duties. Now, this season was supposed to be a fire sale, and we did sell a lot of players, almost 20 players, right? But for what value? 55 million people. 50 freaking 5 million. And now you tell me that we need a competent sporting director in. You tell me that we need a competent CEO in. 100% we do. People that understands what football is all about. People that understand what scouting is all about. People that understand what is true value on the market. There is great talent on players out there. Just look at Brighton, what they're doing. They're going to the grassroots leagues in South America, picking up players like Alvarez, like picking up players like Licha to Ajax for free, almost like for 9 million euros, and selling them on for 50, 60. Casado is another example what Brighton did. What did they bring him in? 7 million. This was recommendations that Ralph Ragnick did before, that the board just didn't listen to. They laughed at him, and then they kicked him out. Look at where they are now. They sold Casado for 100 whooping million to Chelsea. Wow. So the new dawn must be starting from there. Even whoever comes in, it might be Ineos, it might be 92 Holding, we don't know. It's purely speculations at the moment, smoke without any fire. We will see. The answer lies with the Glazers. The answer lies exactly what you saw with the club statement. We will see a club statement eventually that John Mourtough will be resigning. But what's next? It will be a club statement regarding the financial strategical review and who is the winner of the bid. Until then, it's just speculations from the media. But I always said that the only way we will find out is through the Glazers, through a club statement, through the Rain Group, or through one of those Financial Times, Bloomberg's, Reuters, Al Jazeera's. But I don't think so. If they announce it through a club statement that the CEO is stepping down, I think they will do the same. Because once they inform the New York Stock Exchange, the SEC, that's the statement's going to come. Anyway, I'm going to go to the comment sections, guys. Big up. Sorry for ignoring you. There's a lot of things that I'm going to go. Let me just go in what you guys are saying. Yeah, Box is saying, tell us for 10 million, Iqbal 5 million, Mengi 5. Yeah, you can see what I'm trying to do here in this stream to say, like, what we've done here is just to go over the shambolical flops, right? The flop signings. Sometimes Jarvis mentioned in the podcast yesterday that a manager can recruit, not always get 100% right, but at least if you get 50% right, like out of 10 signings, 5 might be all right. That is absolutely correct. I don't see any manager that's ever got 10 out of 10. You always have some flops that doesn't work out for some reason. Anyway, Charlie, what you're saying here, I thought we sold at least six to seven young talent, about 1.5 million, only at least Zidane. Yeah, but this is the official transfer market. We did sell a lot of players. Charlie Savage, etc. There was a lot of players, man. There was a lot of players. What are you saying? LDG, Mick, every new sponsor is either part of owned by Qatar or linked to Qatar, 100%. I don't have anyone to support me here. I'm totally long hands-free. Mark is sleeping, the producer. Anyway, please, guys, do not forget to help us in this algorithm. Do smash a like. Thumbs up, that's all what matters. Like, we don't take dividends like the Glazers, but we do feed on your likes. And it's so easy to burn a little bit extra calories. The buttons down there, ding, ding, ding. And don't forget to hit the notification button either, because if you hit that notification button, you never miss a video. You always get notified when we go live or when we post a video What Darren is saying here, I think Mount was meant to replace McTominay and Fred. Yes, true. And another thing, we looked in the transfer market, Darren, that we tried to sell Van der Beek. So I think also that we look to sell, move on Van der Beek and to replace Van der Beek with Mason Mount. So now all of a sudden we are stuck with, overuse of that department number 10s, right? So where is Mason Mount's best position? On the wing as a number 10. But what about Donny van der Beek? We haven't seen the light of Donny van der Beek. Another one that's just been sitting there collecting salaries. Shambolical. Statistically, what Jarvis is saying here as well, that only 50% of the signings turn out to be successful. 100%, my friend. Guys, if you want to come in, have your say. I will post the link now since it's the morning show. I just had my say, my presentings, my findings. I will copy this link and I'll paste it in the chat. I want to hear from you. I want to interact with you. I feel in a good spirits and good mood. Good morning, people. Good morning. And let me know where you're from as well, guys. Let me know in the chat, where are you chatting from as well. I'm currently sitting in beautiful Thailand. For me, it's not morning. It's 7:39 p.m. I'm 7 hours ahead and I'm struggling from UK. Anyways, it's a beautiful day. There's 38 of you in the view at the moment, but if you happen to view this post-match reaction show, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. And welcome to call in, guys, for you that are live. I want to hear from you. Jarvis, if you're there listening, call in, have you say. Darren Young, anyone that wants to come in, have you say as well. Because later on this afternoon as well, or later on this evening, we're going to do another podcast where we're actually going to look at, the potential ownership. Like, we're going to look at is this enough, right? No, actually, I want to be truthful to myself as well. I want to talk about Sir Alex Ferguson and Sir Jim Rattcliffe, how they're enabling Glazers potentially to rob us further, right? On this channel, we always we don't shy away from calling a spade, and we don't do clickbait stuff, but we want to talk about as close shave as possible. We want to be as real as possible. Everyone that comes in, we like you to be yourself, express your opinions. It's freedom of speech, freedom of thought. It's not about being sensational. So during this takeover saga, what we try to do is provide a voice of reason, to be the motion sickness pill, to educate people what's going on in the, takeover process, the bidding process, explain what shadow bidding is, and bringing in like financial experts and legal experts, and bringing in Swedish Rumble, and having multiple people. At the end of the day, is a disclaimer, whatever we say here, we are not the news. We're reporting at the news, and we are applying our own opinions to it. And it's always been like that, because that is journalism. At the end of the day, you got to look at both sides of the stories and present your findings, and whatever you believe, it is your truth. So some people have been trying to clip this channel to say, well, you said 100% that Qatar is coming. I never said 100%. Never did I never go in and say 100%, because at the end of the day, the only one that holds the key, that knows 100%, is the Glazer family. So big up, smash a like for the Glazers out Full Sail Only, because that's what we are here for. This is the root cause of my channel, together with Jarvis Cochran and everyone that comes in here. You consistently see up here, United against the Glazers, with the Glazers out banner. The majority of the fan base channels are not having this. We are not settling in for second best. We're not settling in for 25%. We don't accept mediocrity. If you're a United fan, you always hold high standards. And we want high standards for this club. Is this enough just to appoint a sporting director? It's a start. Is this enough to appoint a CEO? It's a start, but it's not enough. That's 25% of the capacity for the full 100%. Guys, what you're saying here, Jarle Malmin, must admit that we get Blanc as a CEO, we will hit gold. Yes, 100%. He is an astute change management. He did a Harvard degree in business. He did, but he focused on sport. He was the only one Harvard graduate that went on focus on sport. What he did with PSG was more of a understanding the new digital area to market PSG. Basically, they were in the Farmers League. Nobody really cared about the French league. But what he was pivotal in in putting the Paris, the PSG with Nike Jordan, Air Jordan sign. They become a iconical fashion statement. They become, they came to existence. Like there was on a Polaroid picture, snap, and then you do like this and look at them now, right? But also what he did with, Juventus after them being relegated. He came in there, he managed to build a stadium, when they were in crisis by finessing certain deals, by selling the name rights to the stadium. So they got the new stadium. And then he got him back to the winning ways until he departed. So this guy is the best in class, 100%. But also worth to mention that there's other candidates out there, like Ralph Ragnick, because Ralph Ragnick, Paul Mitchell, they all worked at the Red Bull Sporting franchise. Ralph Ragnick was never a manager, was never a coach. Ragnick was a man that built clubs, and he did that successfully with the Red Bull franchise. Anyway, guys, I don't see that anyone wants to come in and talk to me. I see Kurosawa coming in here. Kurasira, Quintin. Hey, Jarvis Cocker and Stephanie Griffith. Yes, big up, James. What you saying here? What about Qatar, Mick? What about Qatar? Well, we're going to talk about this in the latest stream, I think, as well. So I don't want to talk about that now. But according to what Jarvis is saying, according to Dr. Ian Graham, factoring in player time, there's approximately 50% probability of any transfer of 10 million or more ending in failures. Thank you, Jarvis, for providing that. Thank you. Thank you so much. In the comment section and go, what Milos Micis is calling me Rubiezio Romano. Good afternoon to you, Quentin, as well. Quentin, where are you from, my friend? You said good afternoon. You must sit in my neck of the woods right now in Asia Pacific, I guess. Let me know. Drop a comment in the comment sections. Ashid is saying here, good morning, guys, and Mick. That means that you must be in European Central Time as well. I'm going to backtrack. I think Mount was meant to replace McTominay and Fred. Yeah, 100%. We covered that. If I missed any of you, I do apologize. It's never easy when you're totally alone in the here, and when you miss your trusted sources to come in here, like producer Mark. He has a little bit of a sleep in. Jarvis is there. He's doing what you doing, Jarvis? What are you saying here? You're doing a fast and stating this is a fact. Yeah, big up. So if you missed the Football Power Hour, one of our regular members here on this channel, panelists, he did a facts show on his channel with Planet Faz, and I was watching it, and it was just like, I'm not going to say anything. Go watch it yourself, but it's hard to argue with somebody that believes his own fact is the truth, and that's all I can say. Papi didn't look very comfortable, and I read the room in the chat room in Papi's, and there was a lot of upset people as well. So anyway, big up. And we're talking about fast from the United stand, 100%. What's best is saying here, 5:45 a.m. in New York. Big up to you, mate. Wow, we're up and early. Are you going for a morning stroll or a walk? Good morning to you, mate. Good morning if you just woke up. If you missed the whole entire show, you can always look it back. It's been 1 hour in the making. I think we are going to just finish off that you saying Ashid is from South Shields, 20 minutes from Newcastle. Big up. So you basically are a Geordie, mate. When Geordies speak, they sound a little bit like Mark or one of our panelists, like from Trinidad and Tobago, man. You know what I mean? Morning, guys, to you, 10:45, what you're saying here. And it's been a brilliant podcast. Guys, let me know further on in the comments section before I close the shop. It's been 1 hour live stream, morning breakfast stream. And I really enjoyed because it's been a while since I did a show on my own. Thank you for all your support, guys, for coming in and talking to me as well. But please, 9:15 p.m. But oh my God, Darren, 9:50 p.m. Woohoo! You're in Australia, mate, are you? Darren Young, you must be in Australia, mate. Yeah, must be, mate. Anyway, I'm about to close the shop. But join us a little bit later. We are doing another live stream podcast, but we're going to look into more of, the story of Alex Ferguson and, the story about what's coming out in the press that he's going to be part of Sir Ineos. Why am I saying Sir Ineos? Jesus Christ, I don't even like to say Sir Ineos, but it's been reported that they want him to be part of that rebuild. And God, let this man be. He suffered a brain hemorrhage. His wife passed away, and now you're going to bring him to the helm. Dobar dan. In Mitic in Serbia, it's 11:45. So, guys, tune in to the show. Thank you for the brilliance. Thank you for coming in. And as per usual, please tell people about this channel. We are on the road for 17,400 subscribers. We are 10 people away. So, if we do gain 10 more people on this stream as subscribers, you helped us to reach 10,400. But we're not going to stop there, because at the end of the year, we hope to be on 20,000 subscribers. We've been stagnating a little bit. That is because of my move to Asia Pacific. I'm still adjusting the time difference. We're trying to make a lot of things. And I want to also advertise that changes are coming to this channel. We are launching a brand new interactive website. It's going to be a lot of good stuff in there. It's going to be play ratings. It's going to be a lot of posts. It's going to be a lot of good things. And we're also looking for new presenters to come on board. So we're going to do an edition, and we posted this on Twitter yesterday, so we're going to look for an addition. And since we are predominantly male dominated, so we will prefer for diversity. If you are a female that loves Manchester United, that has a little bit of a personal flair, want to come in, have a say, have a band, have a rant, come in, and we will post a link how you can apply. But anyone is more than welcome. We need fresh voices as well, because this channel is all about you. Freedom of speech, freedom of thought. Come in and have your say. We don't suppress you. Guys, it's been Mick Ruby from MUFC Realist TV. You know me, and please, I look forward to see you to the next video. Until then, stay beautiful, love each other on the socials, and like and subscribe. Bye for now. Green and gold until we sold. Cheers. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.